You're watching News Channel 11 in your corner at 11.
He absolutely had chewed her up from head to toe.
An investigation's underway tonight after a dog attack in a Bristol, Virginia park. Good evening, I'm Josh Smith. Sarah Diamond is off tonight. We're going to have more on that dog attack in a moment. But first, tonight at 11, we have breaking news, and it's in Johnson City. Around 9 o'clock tonight, a man called 911 threatening to kill himself and others and asking for help. According to dispatchers, the man said he was in the vicinity of University Parkway and Lamont Street. Well, according to 911, the man said he had a homemade bomb in a backpack and he planned to use it. Johnson City Police and its bomb squad determined that there was an active explosive device involved in the situation. Now, police have shut down traffic around University Parkway, Winter Street, and Lamont Street. At this point, there are no reports that police are evacuating people, but they are certainly halting traffic while they still are dealing with what appears to be an active situation. No one was hurt. No reports of any injuries so far. News Channel 11 has a crew there. We hope to bring you live coverage in just a few moments. Washington County Johnson City 911 earlier tonight said that a man had called them threatening to hurt himself and others, and then he said he had a bomb. Well, according to 911, bomb squad members are there on the scene, and Mike Lamia is now near there. Mike, first off, where are you, and what have you been able to find out? Bristol, Virginia police confirmed it happened just before 9 o'clock tonight. We're talking 3 blocks of State Street that have been closed because of the 2-car collision. News Channel 11's Mike Lamia is at the scene. Mike, what are you seeing there? What have you found out from police? Our most wanted roundup continues here tonight. We are in Johnson City, where just a few moments ago, a tip from one of our viewers led to an arrest at this residence. This is how it has worked tonight. Within the past few moments, sheriff's departments have told us they've made at least 2 arrests. We have been able to find out that also more tips are being processed at this moment. You are looking live at the arrest that's taking place here, the result of our most wanted roundup, as our viewers have been calling in tips throughout the evening. And this is not over yet. We have been equipped and have been helping to equip law enforcement with all sorts of locations. At this hour, at least 3 active arrests are being committed or being taking place right around the region right now. We want to say thank you to all of our viewers who have been calling. This information is also up on our website tonight, WJHL.com. It's the most wanted roundup here on News Channel 11. Thanks so much to everybody who's called in, to the law enforcement as well. 2 years ago this weekend, at least 8 tornadoes ripped through the Tri-Cities region. I'm Josh Smith, live in Glade Spring, Virginia, where we have coverage of that terrible weekend, or that terrible storm outbreak 2 years later.
One of the hardest hit areas, the town of Glade Spring, Virginia. And that's where my co-anchor Josh Smith joins us from live this evening. Josh?
Sarah, we are right above exit 29, the Glade Spring exit. That's Interstate 81 right behind me. Unbelievable to imagine what it must have been like to stand here that night as an EF3 roared right up this valley and touched down right there at that exit. It was an amazing night here in this area. Washington County, Virginia had 4 deadly tornadoes ranging from an EF0 to EF3. One of those clocked the speed of 140 miles an hour in a path of destruction that measured 17 miles wide. Homes and structures reduced to rubble. Lives were lost. Dozens of people were injured. The recovery made harder when FEMA denied Governor Bob McDonnell's request for federal disaster aid here. And that disaster aid declaration never happened despite a couple of requests for it. Everyone who went through that night and endured what happened here in Glade Spring, Virginia, has a story to tell, each one a little bit different, but that common theme is there. I was back in Glade Spring, Virginia last year as we marked the 1-year anniversary of the tornadoes, and I was able to tell the story of Dexter and Virginia Hicks. It's one I will never forget. Like so many that April night, the Hicks thought they were safe. They really thought everything was fine, and they went to bed, and then something suddenly woke them up.
Then it sounded like a jet plane had come through the side of the house. The walls come in, the windows come in. He was in a whirlwind in the middle of the bed, and it had sucked me up through the closet, through the vent.
Their story, one that has stuck with me ever since. The family literally found themselves in the middle of the twister, and as you heard, they are alive today telling the story. They say the Lord was with them that night and preserving them. Well, 2 years later, some big changes in the way emergency management happens in Washington County, the way it springs into action here in disaster times. Today, the county dedicated a new emergency operations center. It's behind the public safety building in Abingdon. It is really ready to go in an instant to be a command post compared to 2011 when workers were setting up phones and computers as fast as they could to make a makeshift emergency operations center. Reminders of the tornado all over the place here in Washington County, Virginia. You will see this wherever you go. Broken and twisted trees, a piece of siding embedded in one of the trees there, a reminder of the damage that was done, tree lines marked by twisted or, in many cases, dead trees. Today, an effort here to replant the roots of recovery, thanks to the United Way of Virginia Highlands. The Washington County Long-Term Recovery Group and the Urban and Community Forest Program gathered to do a beautiful thing. Today, they planted trees across this county to help restore parts that were lost in that storm a year ago. Washington County, Virginia, certainly not the only county hit. Greene County, Tennessee, as many of you remember, was hit very hard in the storms of 2011, and we were there today. 7 were killed there. Dozens were hurt. In Greene County, devastation as far as the eye could see in places like the Camp Creek community where so many homes were destroyed. Today, plenty of signs of where those tornadoes literally came out of the sky and touched the ground at Camp Creek. Ruined trees, empty lots, and the people there continue to say there are many ways that that area will never be the same.
The woods is all gone, and that lets the wind in even more. It'll never look the same in 200 years.
Despite all the devastation, many we talk with even now, 2 years later, say it's their home and they are not going to go anywhere anytime soon. 2 EF3 tornadoes that hit Greene County, then moved right into Washington County, Tennessee. The worst tornado was the one that hit the Ducktown area and crossed county lines south of Fall Branch as an EF2. Can you imagine it? 120-mile-per-hour winds left a path of 8.2 miles wide. So that's Greene and Washington County, Tennessee. And they weren't the only ones in Tennessee. The recovery effort 2 years later is still in full swing in Johnson County, Tennessee as well, especially in the close-knit community of Butler, Tennessee and in Doe Valley, where an EF2 with wind speeds of 122 miles per hour stayed on the ground for 12 miles. Destroying 40 homes, damaging nearly 250 others, and in Johnson County, 2 lives lost. Well, in some ways, we have all been touched by the tornadoes of 2011, and we continue to remember the lives lost and the way we've been impacted 2 years later. We are still traveling that road to recovery in a lot of parts of our region, and in many ways, people are continuing to see how communities coming together can be so effective to helping rebuild. The Monday's Most Wanted Roundup is underway on News Channel 11. Tonight, we are taking your tips being phoned in. Do you recognize the people on your screen? If so, call the number with your anonymous tip. They are dispatching their sheriff's deputies, and to give you an idea where I am right now, we have been told of a potential arrest being made in Johnson City. We're holding back from that until we hear otherwise. At this point, our goal is to chronicle this as it happens, to let you see how our Monday's Most Wanted effort works. It's with your tips, you stepping forward and saying, I know where that person is, that we are able to help investigators in our region close some cases.